Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Great. How are you?
I've been doing well, and what about you?
I'm also doing well, thank you. I just have one more class and then I can stop working for the day.
Mhm.
So, what would you like to talk about today?
Well, it's your choice. You can talk about anything that you want, or we can just have a casual conversation.
Right, let's start there. So, you're from India, right?
Yes, I am.
Where about do you live?
Well, I'm from the east part of India, and it's a state known as West Bengal. And I live in the plain area, but we have hills quite near us.
Interesting, interesting. Okay, and you're 15, right? That's what you said in your message earlier.
Yeah.
All right. So, how did you become so good at English?
Well, because probably I have been watching cartoon English movies since when I was a child. So I guess that is why. And I also actually study in an English medium school. So sometimes I speak in English with my friends.
Mm. It's good to have a bunch of friends who you can practice English with. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. So you run a YouTube channel, right?
Yes.
Am I remembering correctly? How
Yeah.
did you come about doing this? How long have you been doing that for?
Well, that was also quite not a plan at all. Like, I just
Uh,
started doing it when I was in class two. I was pretty young. But then my parents actually told me about this idea, and I also found it interesting. So I made videos. I actually make videos when I get time because I have lots of things to study about. Whenever I get free time, I think about making YouTube videos. So actually, I love
mm,
making.
interesting. And I did have a look at your channel, and I think that you've spoken to other Cambly teachers as well, right?
Yes, yes.
What kind of stuff do you usually talk about?
Well, we mostly have a normal conversation, like about every casual.
Interesting. Interesting. So, but don't you find that it kind of repeats every every other teacher asks the same kind of questions?
Well, it sometimes does, yeah.
Ah, I kind of feel like I did that, you know. It's very interesting. Like it's a very normal thing to happen. How long have you been on Cambly for?
More than 1 year.
Okay, great. And all of your classes are 15 minutes, right?
Yes,
So you don't learn anything in particular, you just chat.
yes, that's kind of true.
Okay, so do you have any questions about English that you find difficult to understand, or like parts of English, I guess you could say?
Of course, like, in my YouTube channel, there are lots of subscribers, lots of viewers who actually want to know about a lot of things. Like, listening and speaking are a good part, but sometimes they have confusions like how do native speakers like use such good vocabulary? I mean, they get stuck sometimes while using. So, can you please say
Hmm.
something about that?
Getting stuck, right? Okay, so yeah, it's a very, it depends on like the confidence that you have. So here's something that people can do. If you struggle with learning or like using certain types of vocabulary, it means that you don't understand like the function of that vocabulary extremely well. So let's say, for example, we're learning the word beautiful. This is also a very good way to increase your vocabulary really fast. So if you're learning the word beautiful, that is an adjective. But we can also change the meaning of this word to a different function, which would be an adverb, where it's beautifully, right? So an adjective describes a noun, and an adverb describes
Verb.
a verb. Yes, but we can then change the same meaning to a verb. We can say, for example, where it becomes an action to make something beautiful, and we can have it either beautician, which is a person who works in like the beauty industry, and then we have beauty, which is an idea. So having the ability to do this kind of like, let's say, function training, I guess you could call it, you will smooth out your speech significantly. You will increase understanding, speaking, and your grammar all at the same time. Just doing, I guess, this exercise.
Yes,
It's
that's
not that
really.
hard. It only takes like 2 minutes.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'm sorry, you. How do you study vocabulary, for example?
Well, my vocabulary, I don't know if it's that strong. I just try to use simple, normal vocabulary. And I guess my vocabulary improves while reading. I read a lot of English novels, so that helps a lot.
Mm,
Like sometimes, I probably don't know a meaning of a word, but when I read it for a lot of times, probably continuously, I'm reading that word, and then I get to know the meaning just like that. And then if I normally it happens like I might use it in a sentence while I'm speaking.
mm. Yeah, that's so. This is a very interesting thing that you mentioned, because like, yes, there's a lot of vocabularies in English and every type of language actually, but only the ones that we use to speak is a small amount.
Right,
So targeting these languages or these vocabularies would be a good idea to start.
right,
Simple words like they, them, you, I, we, also is, am, are, was, were. These are vocabularies that are in every single sentence, depending on what you're talking about. But they come across so frequently that if you know how to structure them correctly, you're almost there. You're almost there. But yeah,
right.
reading, let's talk about that. What do you read? Like novels, yeah? What's
Oh well,
what's your favorite novel?
I mostly read English novels. I was a huge fan of fantasy, and I guess I am still right now.
Mm.
Well, I read these novels, and mystery novels are also my favorite genre. I love reading Agatha Christie novels sometimes, and then there are other few novels like I guess mystery would be my favorite genre.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so give me one book or recommend one mystery novel that I can read.
Well, mystery novel. There is a mystery novel that I just frequently bought, and I haven't completed that yet, but it might be good. It is known as Rock Paper Scissors. It's a thriller kind of
Huh.
novel, and I think it would be good. I have like finished it half, but then I guess it would be a good one.
Ah, okay. So rock, paper, scissors, you say is what it's called. Interesting. Rock, paper, scissors. Let me see. I should probably say book. Yeah. Okay. There we
Yeah.
go. Ah, okay. Psychological thriller novel. Oh, it's for by a British author. Interesting. I'm gonna take a look at this for my next book. I just read like philosophy books, I guess you could say. They're a little
So
bit more difficult
what
than
what do you
normal
read?
books.
Your genre, favorite genre?
Well, it depends. Like, I like to read books where I can learn something, right?
Okay,
So
that's
I've read like Thinking Fast and Slow, which is a really good book for people who want to like organize their thoughts, I guess you could say, or make good decisions. That's a good one. Sapiens, like a brief history of mankind. Like this is
mm,
also a good book. Like this type of stuff. Things where I
I
can
get it.
learn about history and things like this. It helps a
That's
lot.
actually good.
But it is very technical though. Like certain books have certain vocabularies that go with it. But like fantasy
Mm,
novels, I've actually read a book called Lullaby by Little Criminals.
okay.
Lullabies by Little Criminals. I don't remember exactly who wrote that book, but yeah, it was a pretty good book. It's a little bit crazy, but yeah, it's all right. It's for older people, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And Sherlock Holmes also,
Mm.
definitely. Yeah, crazy. Do you have any other hobbies?
Well, I love to listen to music. Music is my favorite thing. I love playing the synthesizer. I know how to do that.
Ah, nice. Okay, so music. Let's talk about music. Favorite musicians, go.
Oh my God. Actually, I can never pick one artist. Like I listen to like three languages, you can say. My mother tongue is Bengali, and then we have Hindi Bollywood music of India, and then we have English music. So whatever suits me, like whenever I'm in the mood of some sad songs, probably I listen to them. Happy upbeat songs, I listen to them. So it depends.
Hmm. Hmm. What is that like the English song that you've been listening to recently, or like the
Oh,
most, I
recently.
guess.
Yeah, I guess the recently there is has been a trending song that is known as "Until I Found Her." I love that song a lot.
Until I Found Her. Interesting. Very cool. I'm like you. I don't really have a lot of like, I don't, I can't pick just one. It's very
Hmm.
hard to do that. And also, most of the music I listen to is in English, but there are some other languages that I also like to listen to. But it's harder to understand those types of music,
Yeah,
let's say, for
right.
example. So you speak three languages. You can do that, right?
Yes.
Fluently.
Yeah, I'm fluent.
Crazy. That's really good. Like I think that's why you're so good at English as well. Like you were able to speak two languages already. It's pretty good. It's
Yeah,
pretty good.
actually in
Keep
India,
learning, man.
like the least number of languages that a person would know is three. Like people mostly know more than three. So three is actually pretty.
Whoa. Yeah, that's it. I did not know that. You see, learning something new. In my country, we have 11 official languages, right? So it's quite a few, but not everybody can speak more than two. So majority of
Mm,
people can speak like two languages, like the language that you were born into, and then
mm,
English would be
right.
the other one. But yeah, more than two, like three at a time. That's very crazy. Very interesting. I actually used to live in China, so I can speak some Chinese as well, but
Oh well.
it's hard. It's really difficult.
Yeah,
Most languages are difficult.
when we went to China, they actually told us a few words like hello, and then how are you,
Mhm.
thank you, and so a few I've forgotten those, but it is very hard. Like they have different styles of speaking the same thing, and it would mean
Right.
something else, and that's quite hard.
Correct. Yes. It's yeah, it's similar. Yeah. It's like a train wreck, I guess you could say. But
Right.
what did you do in China?
Well, just traveled. We traveled over there when we got a vacation. My mom, dad, and me,
Amazing.
we three just went there for a tour.
Great. That's really cool. Have you ever been to any other countries except China?
Well, yeah, in Asia, I've been to a lot of countries, and then to Europe. I've never been to America, Africa, or
Mm,
Australia. In Europe, I went to a few countries: Germany, Switzerland, Belgium, and a
mm.
few others. Yeah,
Interesting. Very cool. But it was nice to talk to you.
yeah.
Unfortunately, our time's up and I have one more class. But yeah, I will maybe see you in the future.